Hello, this is part 3 of the Squareboi assembly guide. In this video, I'll be making the cartridge reader and programmer board. Note that, unlike the other boards, the programmer uses various values of resistors. There's 10k ohm resistors for the LEDs, 20k for the logic signal pull-ups, and a single 100k ohms for the cartridge reset pin. Let's place them now. Let's add in the capacitor. And now the LEDs. Take note of their orientation. The negative pin should point down. Next, I'll install the socket, paying attention that it faces the direction indicated in the silkscreen. I'm using a simple turned pin socket for this board, but the procedure is exactly the same if you'd like to install a ZIF socket instead. Let's install the double pin header. It's important to do this one first, as it will otherwise be blocked by the cartridge slot. Unlike single-row headers, this one can't be split easily just by bending. I'll use Flashcart clippers instead. Time for the cartridge slots. The pegs on the sides are supposed to be a friction fit with the board, so it'll stay in place even without tape. Take your time, and make sure all the pins go into their respective holes. The pins on some cartridge headers are quite short and might not protrude fully through the board. In that case, I'd recommend letting the iron linger on each pad a little longer than usual to make sure the solder flows down the plated through hole and makes for a reliable connection. I'll install the reset button. Take note of its orientation. The bends in the leads should point towards the sides of the board when viewed with the text upright. Finally, it's time to install the remaining pin headers. Like before, I'll use a spare board as a guide to keep everything lined up as I solder it. As a side note, if desired, it's possible to add two M2 bolts to the cartridge slot through these two holes. With nuts and washers, they can secure it firmly against the board and provide additional rigidity for when you're inserting and removing cartridges. I'll add the auxiliary power header. Like in the main board, if using a keyed header, make sure the tab points to the outside. Finally, I'll get an Arduino Mega 2560 and insert the board I've just made. It should go in easily, the same as any other shield. And that should be it. The board is now ready to be programmed with the cartridge reader software. On the next video, I'll go over final assembly for the system. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.